y'all. Happy Monday and happy, oh my God, my brain is went blank. Happy Monday and welcome to In the Hot Seat. So first, I'm doing something a little bit different, you guys, because I don't know about y'all, but like for like the past couple of weeks, there's like a huge echo. So I'm just gonna like share it instead of like keep everything in the group. So I'm gonna do that, and then I'm gonna bring on our guest. But if I have any watchers, or if you're watching this on the replay, if you have a nonprofit or you're thinking about starting a nonprofit, like you guys listen up to today's interview, like it's gonna be awesome, and make sure you connect with her because, like I said, she is awesome. So I am gonna stop rambling, and I'm gonna go ahead and bring up Miss Catherine, and here she goes. I'm throwing you into the screen now. Happy Monday. As you can tell, I have like a huge brain fart. So, yeah.
I feel that.
But I'm going to start. I know. Like, oh my gosh. And I was just like, I was rehearsing in my head before I even like did this. But okay, I'm going to stop being awkward. And I'm going to let you introduce yourself and just tell us who you are, like your name and like your business. And yeah, and we'll take it from there.
Well, I'm so excited to be here on Monday night. My name is Catherine, or Kat Ashton, and I am a nonprofit growth coach and founder and CEO of Giant Squid Group. So we work with small and startup nonprofits to help them increase their fundraising capacity, their leadership skills, and overall just have a bigger impact of their communities. And I have a 3-year-old named Rosalind, and I actually started the company when she was about 2 months old. So I feel like I have 2 babies that are turning 3, almost turning 4 this year. Oh my goodness.
That is crazy. Well, I was like, I started this with my son was like 3 or 4 months old. So I was like, I completely understand.
It seems like such a good idea at the time, right? And they're little and they're sleeping, during the day.
Yeah.
I feel like I have these semi-vivid memories of my daughter being asleep on my chest in her little carrier, and I had my laptop. My back would be killing me because I would just work and work and work. And then it got a lot harder, as you know, when they start moving. So it's much better now that she's in school and we're all learning.
Yeah, like we might end up like getting my son in daycare, but I will not. I'll talk about random stuff. Staying on track. Could you tell us a little bit more? Like, how did you even like get started as like a not like into this field?
Yeah, that's a great question. I stumbled into it, and as I think a lot of us do, right, into whatever jobs we have, whether it's our first job or later on in our career. And I was really lucky that out of college, I landed a job that had some fundraising in it. And I started being an office manager at a school, but there was a little bit of fundraising, and I fell in love with it. And was really lucky to get a sequence of jobs that kept teaching me more and more about nonprofit work and fundraising. And I loved how you could have an impact on your local community and work with fabulous organizations while also having it be my full-time job. So I did that all through my 20s in Chicago and Austin. And then, like I said, when my daughter was born and I didn't really want to do the full-time fundraising job because they're pretty brutal and have an infant, is when I started the company and became an entrepreneur.
That's awesome. Okay, so because like right off the head, like I know a bunch of people that have like nonprofits, and fundraising is always like a top thing. Like, what the heck do we do and everything? Do you have like any? I know everybody's like different, but like, do you have any like tips with people wanting to start a nonprofit or fundraising, or like how to even like get that started?
How do you start? Absolutely. I think the number one thing is just to really be authentic and know what you're doing and why it matters. And a lot of us start nonprofits because we're passionate about it, right? And I know you do a lot of nonprofit work, and I always tell people you didn't start a nonprofit because you love fundraising, right? But then oh crap, here we are, you're fundraising. And so a lot of it I think comes down to authenticity. And I always tell clients you need to be able to pass the so what test. If you can tell me what you're doing and I'm like, okay, I get it, you're much more likely to be able to get a gift. But oftentimes we're so in it, we're so in the weeds, we're not really thinking about that external message. So I want to be able to say, so what? Why does that matter? Why does it matter that you're rescuing cats? Or why does it matter that you're working with men and women experiencing homelessness? And to push you to clarify that message. And then the second biggest, well, maybe this is the first biggest mistake, is we don't ask for money. We just sort of say, well, no one gave us money, so we can't do it. And so the number one thing I tell my nonprofit partners is make a calendar of when and how you're going to talk to people, and then just do it. It doesn't have to be perfect. None of us are perfect, but you do have to get out there and be asking for money, whether it's an email, whether it's a phone call, whether you're writing grants. But if we sit on our hands waiting for it to happen, it won't. Like everything in life, we have to work for it.
Yeah. Oh my God, that was good advice. So another common thing,
right? I feel like it's always just more work. You gotta do it. But if there were a fundraising magic bullet, I would be a multimillionaire. So unfortunately, I just have more work for y'all.
Yeah. I mean, like, we get it, but I did want to ask this too. Someone wanted me to ask you, for like nonprofits, like, is there a particular platform or anything that you recommend for fundraising, or just asking, or is it just kind of like you said, just putting yourself out there and finding out what works?
There's so many tech platforms, right? And I get really nerdy about this. So there's so many different tech platforms, and honestly, it's all on how you use them. So again, I wish I had that, like, oh, you've got to use this one and it'll solve all your problems. But unfortunately, it really comes back to that messaging and who you know, and how you're building that messaging. And I certainly have some tools I love, and I'll drop some on my Facebook page later, and drop them on your Facebook page. But I use Trello to stay organized, right? Especially as moms, we got to stay organized. I use Active Campaign for email. I ditched MailChimp. I'm so happy I did. And then a nonprofit tool that I love that some folks don't know about is this company called Give Lively. And it's free gift processing. So it's not, people aren't just going to fall into your lap and give you money. But if you are a small nonprofit and you're really trying to have the most bang for your buck, you can set up a beautiful donate page. You can set up a text to give campaign. You can do tickets, all of those nitty gritty things. And it's going to look like $1 million, and it's 100% free. It's such a fabulous tool.
Okay. That's awesome. Okay. Yeah. I'm sorry. Like the new year, do you have any upcoming projects, or anything going on coming up soon?
So we relaunched our website today, like, what is it, 7 o'clock, like 7 hours ago. So y'all go look at giantsquidgroup.com. You'll be the first ones to see it. It's beautiful. I worked with the most amazing woman to rebrand it. So that was big. That was sort of my holiday project. So the website is up, and that really went up. Yeah, what are we going to do? So we've got a few really exciting projects in the pipeline. I work with 2 other fantastic moms and women on my team. And one of the groups that we're really excited about is we're starting a fundraising lab for arts founders and leaders, particularly here in Austin. And particularly, we've all been impacted by COVID-19, but the arts scene in Austin, we're the live music capital of the world, has been hit hard, as you can imagine. So there's a lot of musicians and artists that have been struggling, but a lot of theater companies too, a lot of indie artists. And it's just feeling a little scary. I have been listening to nothing but podcasts and things. So I'm like, we gotta fund the arts, because I would go nuts otherwise. So we're putting together a mastermind, but I've been told not to call it a mastermind because that word is too scary. So we're calling it our Smart Lab. So it's an art lab for arts leadership lab for nonprofit fundraisers and artistic directors to come and just learn from each other and set their goals and work towards them. So we're working on launching that probably in April. We're working with a fantastic partner here in Austin. And then, of course, we have a million projects, right? I have so many. Grant writing class we're going to be getting live. So if you're interested in learning about grant writing, we're going to do probably a group cohort, and then on demand as well. So because I know we can't always be at our computer. But yeah, I feel like we've got so much energy and so much to do, and it's just making enough hours in the day.
Yeah, I completely feel that. So with the grant writing class, definitely give me details on that, because that is super neat.
It is. So
do you have an idea?
Yes, we get asked a lot. I think that's the number one thing. How the heck do we write grants? And that's certainly not as easy as just going for money, right? So we're going to be doing some classes around that, which I'm very excited about.
Okay, yes. Please give me the details on that because that is definitely one of like the top, like you can imagine, like that's one of the top things that we get asked. So like, yes, I will
Yeah.
definitely pass that information along. So
Well, I'm excited.
we
We're
have
gonna
the
have a
grant
whole
writing
mom mogul
classes.
like
Is
killer
going,
cohort.
yes. Are there any other classes that we should probably know about or like kind of like in the works that maybe need to follow along with the page?
Those are the two big ones right now. I really love this idea of the mastermind sort of cohorts. So I'm definitely going to be doing more of that. And I think it's such a great way because
Okay.
we're always smarter when we learn from each other, right? And particularly as an entrepreneur and particularly someone working in the nonprofit field, and I'm sure, y'all experience this, is it can get very lonely, right? Doing this on our own. And depending on what industry you're in, it can feel very competitive when it doesn't need to be. And I'm a huge component of collaboration. And I think the more we collaborate, particularly cross-sector and start to cross-pollinate those ideas, the better we are in the nonprofit sector, particularly the better we are as women, because we can learn from each other and listen to each other and all bring our different viewpoints. So this arts one is our first one, but I'm really hoping that takes off because I know all of the leadership opportunities I've had, whether it's a formal cohort or just ad hoc mentoring. I wouldn't be sitting here talking to you today without all that. So I'm really excited to bring more of that to the nonprofit sector in particular. So again, new website is out. It's all kind of downhill from there, I hope.
I'm pretty sure it will. Like you're pretty awesome what you do. So you have someone ask. You're welcome. You have someone asking like, how did you choose the name for your business?
Oh, it's the best question. You'd think I would be prepared for that question, and I never am. Like, why am I always surprised someone asks me that? And every once in a while, I have this moment, like I wake up and I'm like, I actually legally named my company Giant Squid Group LLC. Like the Secretary of State of Texas has that on file. So the real story, which I've embraced, I used to feel like I needed a cover story, but going back to that authenticity, the real story is I was, early 20s, 25, maybe mid-20s. And I was at a dive bar in Chicago down the street from my apartment with my then boyfriend, now husband, and my best friend who's a travel writer who would kind of breeze into town from his latest adventure. And as you do when you're in your 20s, you have no kids, you're, thinking about life. We were like, what if we started a company? And so we're sitting at this bar in Chicago. I can't remember its name. I've blocked it out. And they had a crock pot full of hot dogs, which was very odd. And they asked us if we wanted any. And I said, no. And they didn't have any beer on tap. The taps were broken. So we had some crappy beer. And somehow in that, we're just spitballing, what's the most ridiculous thing we could name a company? And Giant Squid Group came up. And I was like, I'm into that. And so it sat at the back of my mind. And as I started to think about supporting nonprofits in a different way and stepping into this coaching role and really looking at how we can support the small and the startup nonprofits, I kept coming back to this Giant Squid Group idea. And so when it came time to incorporate, I did it. And I love it because it's different, right? We're different. You kind of know what you're getting. The nonprofit sector can be a lot of reinventing the wheel, a lot of repetition. It can, like any sector, it can be boring. And my team is not boring. We're tattooed. We say fuck a lot. We are gonna, be a little feisty, a little fun. I think our branding really reflects that. And so the name to me is all of that. It's mysterious. It's fun. It's edgy. You know what you're getting. And the branding is great.
Yes.
As you can imagine, I now have so many different like octopus and squid things in my house because that's all people buy me for Christmas. So it's getting weird. I have a lot of cephalopod stuff. I even on my desk, this is my latest little like everywhere you look. But I love it.
Yeah. That's awesome. Like I was actually wondering that too, but I didn't even like think to like ask you that like tonight. So thank you for clearing that up. So I feel like it fits. Like I really like it.
Does.
Like
it's who we are. And every once in a while, and it's wonderful coming to this place of bootstrapping a company, right? Starting it when my daughter was 2 months old. Now I've got this fantastic team working for me, and I get to meet people like you and everyone in Mom Moguls. every once in a while, someone will say, I think I've heard of Giant Squid Group. And sometimes they're thinking of something else, but the name sticks. And it just makes me feel like, okay, we're part of something else. I'm part of this cohort of women. I'm part of the Austin nonprofit sector, and we're making things happen. And I love that.
Oh, so you have another question too. When I these up, as I can tell, my service is just not working well. It sticks. But anyway, so I'm asking about like how long does a typical grant process application take to like review or wait?
Yeah. Oh gosh.
Y'all.
Like forever.
I'm glad you understood that.
It really depends. It really, really depends. So if I had to put a prescriptive number on it, I would say you should be planning about 18 months to building a grants process, which is a very, very long time, particularly those of us who are like, go, go, go. It can really, really range. And that grant process, one of the things that I'm excited about teaching people about is how the whole process works, because it's completely different with every grantor, but typically there will be a proposal that opens, it'll be an RFP or a call for proposals that will open, and they'll say, from January 1st to January 31st, you can submit a grant. And then hopefully if they, have their poop in a group, as one of my team members says, they'll say, okay, by May 1st, we'll tell you. Sometimes there are different steps in there, like by January 31st, submit a letter of intent and tell us that you want to submit a proposal. Mm-hmm. And then by May 1st, we'll tell you if you can submit a proposal. And then by August 1st, submit your proposal. And then by December 1st, we'll tell you. So it's a long time. The quickest turnaround is usually going to be maybe 2 or 3 months. So with my team, we usually have a lot of grants going at one time for our clients. I'd say for the typical client, we've got at least 3 or 4 grants we're writing, because it's a numbers game to a certain extent. And even when you start getting that funding, then you have to report on it. And of course, that funding's not guaranteed forever. So you're always looking for the next grant. So I think on our grants calendar right now, we probably have a cumulative like 10, 12, 15 grants that we're writing, and we won't hear about them until Q3. So it's a little agonizing, but that's a fantastic question.
Yeah. Wow, yeah. I can't even imagine. Like, I only know like bits and pieces, like some of my clients that like did grant writing or stuff like that. So like, to actually like go through that process, like, I can't imagine. So, like, kudos to y'all, especially because Lord, like the amount of work.
I'm lucky I've got a great team that have been doing this. They know what they're doing. One of my team members, she actually has been able to make some really great connections with funders. Actually, she's in Chicago, and so she can ask them questions. And just like anything else, it's a skill. None of us learned it overnight. So it's definitely a lot of moving pieces, a lot of detail orientation, and then of course a lot of writing. That is definitely a great question.
Well, yeah. Like, my God. So I guess the last thing I'm gonna ask you is like, where in the world can we find you online to like get connected with you, and of course like keep up with the classes that you guys are gonna be enrolling, like just everything?
Yeah. So of course, all the usual places. Giant Squid Group is my handle for everything. So I saw you posted my website, which is awesome. Big kudos to Megan Gopp at the Adventure Agency for bringing that to life. Like I said, I'm so excited. It's so shiny and new. And then of course, Facebook, Twitter, LinkedIn, it's Giant Squid Group. And, I always love to connect with other nonprofit professionals, other women, wherever you are, other moms. And I love talking to people and learning their stories, and particularly those of us who are mom moguls and who are kind of carving our way. And I think that we can really do whatever we want as moms, although it can be very, very hard. And the more we start to change where and how we work and set those expectations for ourselves and each other and lift each other up, that's what we got to do, because the way that a lot of us are working is not working for us. So I love getting to be here and talking to everyone tonight.
I'm glad to get you up on here and like talk face to face finally, instead of like social media. But I guess honestly that was about it. But of course, I will have like your handles written out in the caption so people can like connect with you afterwards. And I'm pretty sure like with the replay, there's gonna be more questions.
Yeah,
and I don't know how to answer them. So
sure. I'm on Twitter all day, of course. just hiding from my daughter on Twitter, hiding in the bathroom like we do. So absolutely, y'all, LinkedIn, message me, tweet at me, DM me. I feel like, whatever, smoke signals. We're all tied to our phones. So I would love to hear from you, and I'm happy to answer any questions I can about starting a business. I know you are well suited for that, all of you, but particularly this nonprofit work, and happy to share any resources I can. So I can't wait to hear from y'all.
Awesome. Well, thank you for coming on tonight. And of course, thank you guys for hanging on. If you're watching the replay, thank you for watching. And of course, make sure to connect with her after you watch the video. And yeah, you guys have an awesome night, and we will see y'all in Cyber World.
Have a great Monday. I'll talk to you soon. Bye, everyone.